Hello everyone, my name is Nadia. I'm a vet tech here in Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for tuning into my channel. This is going to be a part 2 to the reading my veterinary journal. Please watch my first video if you need an introduction about what I'm doing. Excuse me, I'm recording. Please watch my first video if you need an introduction of what I'm doing. But I'm just going to go right into it just so that these aren't crazy long. And yeah. The first one was Tuesday, October 25th. The second one is October 26th. So it was Wednesday. And you see here it says 2016. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this series, let me know. If you don't, I don't care. Number 1, we have a Yorkie female, 13 or 14 years old. Her name is Chloe. Don't know if she's spayed or not. It says suspect heart problems, recently coughing, having issues. Me too, girl. No procedures or diagnosis, but left with medications to try and improve her. And then there's a little parentheses here that says update on next page. So we'll get to that next chapter. This is why I wish I would have known what I was doing as a vet assistant, because it says left with medications to try and improve her. So the dog's having heart issues and she's coughing. So I wonder what type of medications we gave her, because that would have been really good to know now. It's very typical for a 13 to 14-year-old Yorkie to have heart problems. They're like the #1 breed that is prone to having heart problems. Small dog, bigger issues. So number 2, I wish I knew what this said. I have really bad handwriting. I have doctor handwriting. Here's your doctor. So I think this says number 2, Sinette or Sine, and in parentheses I put taxi. Then I put shepherd mix. Don't know age or sex or anything, but it says not standing, breathing problems, old, temperature high, fluids, gave fluids, and calm down or calming. So what the so right here it says something taxi, but shepherd mix, old, temperature high, we gave it fluids, calming. Girl. So number 3, we have a 6-year-old Shih Tzu named Rocky. Don't know if it's male or female. Why did I do that? Whatever. It says broken leg. Doc used force to put bones together, then put a splint and wrapped it up. And I drew a picture. This is the picture that I drew right here of what the bones look like. So they were on top of each other, and I remember the doc, because in order to put a splint on, you can't just put the bones that are laying on top of each other and put a splint on that. It's just, they'll just cause force, the wear and tear, and that hurts. So the best thing to do is to essentially fix that, fix that so it's in place, in the correct place, and then put a splint in it. And then I believe they either A, came back for a surgery, or they had to refer out to an orthopedic surgeon. Ortho surgery is a real specialty surgery, or a real specialty, period. So in order to do surgeries that have to do with bones, you have to refer out to someone who does do those, I'm assuming what we did is put the splint on to maintain, and then send out to an orthopedic surgeon, and or come back when we have a surgeon that can do it. I wish I would have put some of the what happened afterwards, like the callbacks, when we call back, say, hey, how's Rocky doing? And then I would have wrote down oh, doing better, went to surgery, whatever, but this is a learning process for me. So if anybody's watching this that wants to do something like this, don't write client's information down. Just focus on the patients and really focus on the details, so that when you look back, like for me, 6 years later, you know what you're talking about. as I mentioned, this was my very first job, so I didn't know anything about the veterinary world, or like, and I worked at an emergency room too for my first job, so you can imagine we see a lot of hectic cases. And I remember this one so deeply. This one has haunted me in my dreams, even to this day. It's one of the, I still mention it when people bring up things that relate to it, even in today's world. So the fourth thing that we saw that day, or what I have 4 here, is, it just says euthanasia, and it says Corgi, and his name is Breck, B-R-E-C-K, Breck. And the reason why we quote-unquote euthanized was because the dog, so it's a Corgi. So if you don't know what a Corgi looks like, it looks like this. Little legs, and this place was in Florida, so a lot of people have pools. And what had happened was, with this Corgi, was basically the Corgi fell in the pool that they had, and the pool had a covering on the top, like, you know, like some pools have like a covering or whatever, and essentially he got stuck under the covering. So literally the hardest part of the job. So he probably tried to swim his life away, you know, as you can imagine, and maybe he couldn't find the stairs, or honestly maybe the cover was just too heavy for him. You never know. Corgis they could be little. He was a decent sized Corgi. He was about a medium sized Corgi, so he wasn't too small. But at the same time, like, if you're already underwater, you're already quote unquote drowning, and there's something on top of you that you don't know what's going on, and you don't really know where you are, like, it's inevitable for something bad to happen. The dog came in that night in shock. His heart was still beating, but he wasn't really breathing, and he was just like stiff, and his tongue was blue, his eyes weren't even like there, they were glossed over, and essentially the dog was in shock. And I do believe that our doctor tried to resuscitate him, but after analyzing him and seeing how bad he was in shock, it's just kind of not that it was useless, but it would have, the chances of him surviving was lower than it was for him to just pass. Some animals can go into shock, like when they fall into a pool, and they can snap out of it, but apparently he had been under there for a while, and he was already progressed to the point where literally his tongue is blue. When the tongue is blue, just means lack of oxygen. So he already progressed to the point of not even having oxygen anymore in his body, which is why he was just... So that was a hard one. I know some of these were probably going to be hard. But, you know, my first vet job in an emergency room, and seeing something like that is borderline traumatizing, especially as a first timer, you know. And anytime anybody brings up anything about pools or anything, I always mention it to someone so that they could save someone else's life, someone else's dog's life. And, you know, it's nobody's fault, you know, because things happen, and dogs travel, and dogs slip and fall, and it just like anything else with humans, like accidents happen.
So that was depressing.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this is a really short episode season, but like I said, it'll continue. I have basically half of this book to go through. If you're a veterinary assistant or vet tech for your first time and want to do something like this, please remember, don't write any client's information, not even their last name. Only focus on the pets, and really be as detailed as you can. Put all of their information there so that in years later when you go to read it, you actually know what's going on and you're not confused like me. R.I.P. to Breck. Sorry for the family out there that lost him. I can assume, I didn't write age or anything, but I can assume that he was way too young for that to happen to him. And, you know, it's, like I said, it's traumatizing for all of us. And yeah, so sorry for your guys' loss. I doubt you're watching this, but sorry for your guys' loss, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends.